Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. The galaxy had long known that survival in the vast expanse of space required ingenuity, resourcefulness, and adaptability. For countless civilizations, their technological advancements were their greatest asset. The ability to harness energy, create superstructures in space, manipulate gravity, and even bend time itself were considered hallmarks of the greatest species in the galaxy. The more advanced races viewed these abilities as symbols of power tools that ensured dominance over less developed civilizations. Yet, despite all the advancements, the galactic community had been in agreement on one thing: no species had ever been known to possess the raw, unrefined ingenuity of humans. Humans were often seen as the newcomers in the grand cosmic theater, emerging from their quiet, relatively isolated corner of the universe into a galaxy already populated by ancient civilizations. They were unremarkable at first glance, lacking the longevity or sophistication of older species. Their biology was fragile, vulnerable, and their homeworld, Earth, was but a pale dot in the galaxy compared to the sprawling empires of the galaxy's oldest races. The elders of the galaxy, species that had existed for millions of years, saw humans as naive, untutored, and weak, with little to offer beyond their potential for labor. They were observers, not players in the greater galactic game. At least, that was how the galaxy viewed humanity until the first encounters with their improvised weapons began to filter out to the wider cosmos. The first incident that caught the attention of the galactic community occurred during a series of diplomatic negotiations. Humans had been invited to participate in a multi-species council, a gathering of some of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. These councils were, as a rule, peaceful, bureaucratic affairs, discussions of trade, peace, and technological sharing. As the humans arrived on the designated station, a sprawling, gleaming city in space, they were escorted by members of the more advanced species. For the most part, the human delegation blended in with the other representatives dressed in sleek suits, speaking the shared diplomatic language of the galaxy. But a strange thing happened just before the opening session. A small group of humans, who had been quietly observing the meeting room, slipped out unnoticed. No one had expected anything out of the ordinary, but by the time the council began its proceedings, the room had changed. The doors to the chamber were jammed shut with makeshift barricades of debris, chunks of the station's furniture and materials. The sophisticated security systems that normally protected the meeting spaces were disabled. When the alien council members arrived and tried to enter the room, they were met with confusion and a slight panic. The humans had simply used objects at hand brought from their own starships or scavenged from the station to lock themselves inside, cutting off access to the rest of the space station. They hadn't used anything beyond simple tools, nothing that was technologically advanced or militarized. Yet, somehow, they had turned an ordinary space into a makeshift fortress. It wasn't an act of aggression. It was a display of something far more unexpected: the human ability to create something out of nothing, to make weapons out of the most benign materials. The aliens, sophisticated and technologically superior, had no idea what to make of it. The humans were not acting violently, yet they had taken control of a diplomatic space using nothing more than their wits and whatever they could find. It was not the destruction or aggression that left an impression, it was the ingenuity behind it. After this strange first encounter, the galaxy began to notice the pattern. Time and again, humans showed an uncanny ability to adapt and survive in situations where advanced civilizations would have found themselves cornered or paralyzed. In situations where other species were technologically stifled, locked in a prison of their own reliance on sophisticated machines or advanced weaponry, humans had the strange ability to turn the simplest of objects into tools of defense, offense, and survival. A pipe, a piece of wire, a bit of scrap metal, or even the simplest tool could be transformed by a human into an effective weapon or defense system. This wasn't just limited to diplomacy or direct conflict. It appeared in the way they solved problems, built communities, and survived in hostile environments. One of the most memorable incidents occurred when a group of human settlers, stranded on a barren moon after their transport was damaged, found themselves in a standoff with a hostile alien species. The alien invaders, a race of aggressive hunters known for their superior strength and weaponry, arrived expecting an easy conquest. The humans, stranded and under-equipped, had no military power at their disposal. Yet, within a matter of hours, the humans had taken control of the situation. They constructed rudimentary but effective traps from the scrap materials around them, taking broken parts of their ship, abandoned equipment, and tools and turned them into makeshift traps. Their enemy, expecting a slaughter, was caught off guard by how swiftly and decisively the humans had crafted weapons out of the very wreckage of their own failure. What the aliens had considered a simple species now revealed the truth: the human ability to improvise was nothing short of terrifying. The shock to the alien invaders wasn't merely in the effectiveness of the traps, it was in the speed with which the humans had adapted. What the aliens saw as a sign of weakness, a lack of preparation, became a strength in the hands of humans. The human mind, it seemed, was able to view the universe through a different lens, not as a place of fixed tools and rigid systems, but as a field of possibilities. Any object could serve a purpose, anything could be remade into a weapon, a device of survival, or a tool to overcome a situation. Where other species relied on precision-engineered weapons, human ingenuity involved a level of lateral thinking that rendered traditional forms of warfare and conflict obsolete. The galactic community, consisting of highly evolved species with centuries or even millennia of development, began to understand something unsettling about humanity. In a crisis, they did not break down, they adapted in ways that defied the rules of conventional warfare. Whereas the others relied on bombs, sophisticated machinery, and strategies refined over centuries, humans had the capacity to turn everyday objects into powerful tools of survival and defense. The most unnerving thing about human improvised weapons was their unpredictability. The other species, with their reliance on complex, predetermined strategies, often relied on the fact that any given encounter would follow a set pattern: battle lines drawn, weapons unleashed, and technology used to outmatch the other side. Humans, on the other hand, had no such limitations. They could turn the mundane into the extraordinary. A stick, a shard of glass, a pile of scrap metal, these could all be transformed into effective tools of combat. And humans did it with little more than their raw creativity. It was a level of improvisation and adaptability that no other species had ever demonstrated. One memorable incident, recorded in the galactic archives as the Battle of the Shattered Station, highlighted this peculiar trait. A space station that served as a neutral hub for trade and diplomacy was attacked by a coordinated raid from a technologically superior alien species. Their strategy was straightforward: seize the station's control center, neutralize all defense systems, and capture the inhabitants. However, the humans on board had no intention of going down without a fight. Using nothing more than the tools at hand, they managed to create a makeshift defense system that would have made even the most battle-hardened warriors take pause. The humans began by scavenging the station for anything they could find: electrical wires, pieces of broken machinery, and any tools they could carry. They worked in pairs, combining their individual skills: engineers, mechanics, and former soldiers into a makeshift unit. What followed next stunned the attackers. The humans used the station's own power grid against them, setting traps using the electrical system to short-circuit and overload various sections of the station, creating a field of deadly static mines that disabled the attackers' advanced weaponry. This, in combination with sharpened metal shards and even repurposed medical supplies, turned the station into a nightmare for the invaders. The attackers were used to highly organized, highly trained forces fighting in perfect coordination. They were not prepared for humans, who could turn an ordinary cargo hold into a fortified zone with nothing but the wreckage of their own ship. At first, the alien invaders thought it was an anomaly, an unfortunate but isolated incident. But soon, it became clear that humans had a strange knack for this sort of ingenuity. And it wasn't just isolated incidents, it was happening everywhere. In asteroid fields, in spaceports, on derelict ships, and on planets abandoned to hostile environments, humans had learned to craft weapons out of anything. It was not that they were particularly skilled at creating sophisticated devices, it was that they were able to use whatever was at hand in any situation and make it work. The other species were left questioning, what kind of species was this? What kind of civilization could create such potent weapons without needing the advanced technology that the rest of the galaxy had built its empires upon? The more they saw of humanity's ingenuity, the more unsettling it became. It was not that humans were invincible, nor were their weapons always the most efficient or deadly. But there was something deeply unsettling about their ability to find solutions where others saw only obstacles. The notion of improvised weapons became synonymous with human resilience, and slowly, the galaxy began to recognize the terrifying potential that this trait held. Humanity had shown that their strength lay not in their military might, their technology, or their biological advantages, but in their ability to adapt, to turn adversity into opportunity, and to create tools of survival from nothing. What had once been seen as a flaw, their lack of refinement and technological sophistication, was revealed to be the key to their greatest strength, an endless, boundless creativity that could overcome any obstacle. And so, the galaxy learned an important lesson. While they had long prided themselves on their mastery of technology and warfare, they had underestimated the most dangerous weapon of all, the human mind. The ability to see the world not as a fixed, rigid structure but as a canvas for infinite possibilities was the true strength of humanity. Where other species saw boundaries, humans saw opportunity, and that made them more dangerous than anyone had anticipated.